The following program is a paid presentation for American Medicine Today and the Bonati Spine Institute. The information and opinions expressed are solely those of American Medicine Today and are not the opinions of the station, its affiliates, management, or employees.
Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, the world leader in advanced spine surgery, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Benari, MD.
Hi, I'm your host Kimberly Bramell, and welcome to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. Every week, we inform you about breakthroughs in medicine, highlight the work of Dr. Alfred Benari and the Bonati Spine Institute, share some of our patients' miraculous recovery stories, and discuss what we feel is the crisis in American medicine today, also known as Obamacare. Today we'll speak with Dr. Jason Stibich, an internal medicine physician in Apollo Beach that is treating patients with mild to severe depression without drugs, and this revolutionary treatment is even helping migraine sufferers at the same time. We'll also hear from Congressional Medal of Honor recipient Gary Luttrell about his amazing recovery and some of our medical staff that truly cares for these patients and helping them get back to enjoying life in our Back to Life segment. And finally, we'll hear from Dr. Benenati about the growing concern and problems that have recently been highlighted with the veterans' care and what Dr. Benenati is doing to try and assist in their recovery. American Medicine Today reaches out to scientists, specialists, and experts in their medical field to discuss topics that impact you and your medical well-being. This week, I visited Dr. Jason Stibich, an internal medicine physician that is treating depression patients with transcranial magnetic stimulation therapy. 19 million Americans suffer from depression, and physicians nationwide are now convinced that TMS in some cases is saving lives in patients who had given up all hope. I'm here with Dr. Jason Stibich, and we're going to be speaking about TMS therapy. So, Doctor, why don't you tell everyone what TMS stands for?
TMS stands for transmagnetic cranial stimulation. So we're using magnetic pulses to treat depression. This machine is made by Neurostar. Just as you would go into an MRI machine and have your shoulder done or your head scanned, it uses the magnetic technology to provide the treatment to the frontal portion of the brain. This is the part of the machine that we place on the frontal part of the person's head to provide magnetic pulses to the frontal part of the brain. This is the computer that we use to determine the correct settings in the patients and how much power that they are able to tolerate with the magnetic pulses.
How much of the population suffers from depression?
Depression is one of those hidden beasts out in the community. I think everybody has family members that have suffered from depression. Everybody has somebody that in their family that they wish they could fix, or at least make them feel like they feel. So in our practice, we treat depression on a daily basis, if not 2 or 3 patients a day.
With this particular therapy, what are the advantages, say, as opposed to something like electroshock therapy?
Electroshock treatment, it has been considered the gold standard of treatment in psychiatry to treat depression for the severely depressed patient. But now we have something that is treating depression in the 21st century. It's treating depression without giving somebody a global seizure to their brain to try to fix them. The benefit of ours over ECT treatment is we do not need anesthesia. We do not put people to sleep for this procedure. We do not create a seizure in the brain to depolarize the brain to treat the depression. In their depression, we're using very controlled magnetic pulses to a portion of the brain where the depression center is. People are able to come into the office. They do not have any IVs. They have no medicines that they have to take. They sit in our chair for 37 minutes, and then they go back to their job or they go home and take care of their kids.
How successful is this procedure?
In the Neurostar studies, their success rate is phenomenal. Their remission rate is phenomenal. Most people that have been treated with 4 medicines, if you add another antidepressant medication to their treatment, there is about a 7% chance of remission with that medication. With using this device, there's a 37% chance of remission.
Substantial.
Substantial, no depression. How many people does it make feel better? In the studies, at least 67% after the 6 weeks. And in the study, they said, well, let's take it a little further and maybe let's treat patients for 2 months, and 85% felt better.
7 months ago, I was so depressed that I wasn't able to function. I couldn't work, I couldn't drive, I could barely watch television. After the 6 weeks of NeuroStar TMS therapy, I was back to work. I was feeling great. I was enjoying my kids again, and I had my life back.
I didn't notice the signs of improvement for a few weeks into the process. My family noticed it that first week. They said that I was sitting up straighter, that I was more engaged.
The amount of progress that I made in the 6 weeks of TMS treatment was just phenomenal. I felt better than I have in years, and I was taking 6 medications. Then when I finished TMS, I have one simple antidepressant, and I'm feeling great.
That's when it came together, when I was able to see where I had been, where the treatment itself was working enough that the fog that the depression puts over your self-perception was lifted. And I felt hope.
Is it only useful for depression, or have you found other benefits of this procedure?
Some patients that have depression, they also have headaches. 3 of my patients that after the first week or even after the first treatment, they don't have headaches for the whole time we're treating them for the 4 or 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And when they come back into the office and I ask them how their headaches are doing, they say, the headaches are gone. It's even safe if you're pregnant. Postpartum depression, it's been studied for that as well. So there's no medicines that go in the body. There's no systemic side effects to this treatment.
Have you yourself tried this procedure?
Everybody in our office has done this procedure on ourselves, especially in training. It's extremely safe, it's easily tolerated. I would put my wife, my parents in this chair and offer them as hope to treat their depression if they had it.
How does one start the process if they are feeling depressed and they come in? What is that initial process like?
If you've tried one antidepressant and you're depressed, to me you're the right fit. If you're majorly depressed, we can probably fix you. If you're minorly depressed, we can probably make your depression go away.
We'll be right back to speak with Medal of Honor recipient Gary Luttrell about his remarkable recovery in our Back to Life segment.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute.
At the Bonati Spine Institute, all of the procedures are performed here at our 11-acre facility. From your initial consultation and exam to x-rays and MRIs in our on-site imaging center. All surgeries are performed in one of our 3 surgical operating rooms, and recovery is just steps away. This allows a surgeon more access to their patients and allows you to go home the same day. Dr. Benati was born in Italy, grew up in Chile, and is proud to call himself an American citizen. He enjoys the opportunity and freedom our country offers to everyone that is willing to work for a better life and exercise the rights we enjoy. The men and women of the armed forces that have sacrificed for our freedom sometimes cannot receive the medical treatment necessary to get them back to life. Dr. Benati and the staff of the Bonati Spine Institute is proud to assist some of our wounded warriors by providing surgical procedures at no charge. Here's just one of our Help for Wounded Warriors Back to Life stories.
I originally injured my back in Vietnam. What caused it, I don't know, but I was down for a couple of days with severe low back pain. It sort of went away, and then I injured it again in a training program in Panama, and that time I was hospitalized for a couple of weeks, and traction and muscle relaxers. In the last 17 years, just progressively worse, to where the last couple of years, my lifestyle was pretty much housebound.
I think we see that a lot as far as many patients have been to several doctors, several different methods in trying to deal with their problem, and oftentimes on a large amount of medication. And to take those patients and help them by relieving the pain, and thereafter being able to detoxify off narcotics and then go back to being productive, I think that's very rewarding.
Through the years, just developed severe low back pain. I had back surgery there at the Tampa VA hospital, and if anything, it made it worse instead of better. I ended up retiring because of my low back pain.
We get the results. We get the results, and we actually take patients that have gone to those places, and we see the surgeries that are not near the equivalent of what we do here.
You kind of feel guilty when your wife is out in the backyard working, doing yard work, etc., and you go out to help, and she looks at you and say, "No, honey, I'll do it." So, yeah, quality of life, being able to do what you used to be able to do, and not be ashamed of looking out the window and watch your wife do everything that you used to do as a couple.
Well, I'm always thrilled to be able to help our patients, but for those who have made tremendous sacrifice and have seen very difficult times, it's an honor to be able to ease their pain and to give them comfort. So it's always exciting to have special folks come in through us.
Go to the football and basketball games, limp as I climbed up in the bleachers. Would sit for a while, stand for a while, sit for a while. That was the quality of life that I had before the surgery. Last year, I think I had more bad days than I had good days. On a bad day, I'd spend most of the day in my recliner chair or in bed. And on a good day, I would get out and about with a pronounced limp and quite a bit of pain. And then I was at a football game with my grandsons, and one of the founders of the Laser Spine Institute, son played football with my grandson, and he noticed me limping quite a bit and asked me my problems. I shared with him what I'd gone through, failed back surgery, and he said, "You know, I really need to get a consult with the Laser Spine Institute," which I made an appointment. Then I received a call from a friend of mine and said, "You know, probably you would want to talk to Dr. Benenati." And so I did, had a MRI, and after about a 45-minute consult, I said, "You know, this is something that I have to go through with." Quite reluctant to have back surgery again after having failed back surgery. I have trust and faith that he can relieve some of my pain.
Well, it's amazing to see somebody who is sick and is without hope and has situations where they were already told that nothing can be done, and we can correct that.
I went through 3 surgeries with Dr. Benari. At the end of the 3rd surgery, I went home. 10 days later, I went back. Still had a little bit of a limp, a little bit of pain, and Dr. Bonati injected both of my sacroiliac joints. And that gave me instant relief. And then over the next couple of weeks, each day just seemed to get better and better and better, and to where now I'm virtually pain-free. When I went in to talk with Dr. Benari, he said, I have a desire to donate 1 surgery a month to veterans and our active duty. And if you are willing to go through with the surgery, then it will be pro bono under my Wounded Warrior project that I have going.
It's wonderful to be able to help the Wounded Warrior veterans. My father was a World War II veteran, and he was a land surveyor and professional engineer. And growing up, I worked for him a lot of summers, And he always gave discounts to vets and to clergy, and I thought that was a pretty good practice. This is a group that has proven themselves. They're most worthy of extra effort on our part.
Dr. Bonati told me, stop limping. My wife thought he said stop wimping. And so we got home, she said, okay, you can't wimp anymore. I said, honey, he didn't say wimp, he said limp. And so I did stop limping. 2 weeks after the last surgery, I really put my back to a test. I went fishing in Canada for halibut, king salmon, 4 days and 4 nights on a boat. And I taxed my back to the max, and I was totally pain-free for the entire trip. Well, being completely retired now, I have 1 son and 2 grandsons that live right down the street. And the opportunity to spend as much time as I do with my son and 2 grandsons means an awful lot to me. Definitely use Eagle 5, my boat, out in the backyard a lot more, and make all their ball games or football games, basketball games. Pretty much anything that they want to do, Papa can still hang in there now. Well, I'm building a house right next door, and it has 4 flights of stairs. And so I test my back quite often by walking very briskly up and down the 4 sets of stairs in the house next door. So if I can do that, I can probably get up and down those bleachers without wimping again. Well, I appreciate you getting me to a state where I'm virtually pain-free, and I also appreciate what you do for our veterans and our retired military.
Well, my part is very small, but it's always exciting to see the response of our patients, to be a part of that experience. It's I'm just there to help and make the process easier for them, but Dr. Benani makes the magic.
When I first met him, and he reviewed the MRI and was, while reviewing the MRI, was saying, you have a problem here that gives you pain. It should have pain here. And it's like, well, exactly. And it's like, this is unbelievable. And then when he shared with me the procedure, the minimum invasive procedure, the rapid recovery, I was just convinced immediately. And then to find out that Dr. Benari is such a great guy that he wants to donate 1 surgery a month to our veterans and to our wounded warriors is just unbelievable. What a heart.
Every time that I walk in the operating room, when I am scrubbing my hands, I always thank God for the opportunity to do this. And it's very unique, that feeling, and you need to appreciate it. The same like the patient. When you are doing this surgery, the patient appreciates that. And it's amazing how easy the word God comes in their minds.
We're not going anywhere because we believe in what we do. There's no other place that will give you those immediate results, first of all. But secondly, you're talking about patients' lives. There's nothing else that may make you feel like you're making a difference. No other place will do it.
Well, I've had a lot of people ask me about my back, and when I explained to them that I'm virtually pain-free, I have recommended, since my surgery, 3 people to Dr. Benati. And my comment to them was, it worked for me. You need at least a consult. Get an MRI, get a consult, and then you make your decision from there. So anyone that had pain like me, I definitely recommend the Bonati Spine Institute.
When we return, we'll be joined by world-renowned surgeon and inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Dr. Alfred Benari, to discuss the growing concern of our veterans and the care they need, but in many areas of the country are having a hard time receiving.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
Welcome back to our final segment of American Medicine Today, featuring Alfred Benari, MD.
Here are some of Dr. Benati's thoughts on the VA and why the government and the people need to do more to help those that deserve it most.
If you just heard a few weeks ago, the big scandal about the VA, well, look how the thing ended. It was a sharp news, a lot of jumping, a lot of these high-grade politicians jumping on television and radio and on newspapers, claiming that the world is going to end, and nothing's happened. Nothing will happen with these programs because they just don't care. And if the private sector will not interfere and help, nothing will happen. We are in a small group, and we have no resources to do a major type of an involvement. But what they should do is they should close these hospitals and give to the veterans the possibilities that they can reach any private physician or any hospital, and then give them vouchers. And that way the service will not only improve, will be a first-class service, and these people will solve the majority of the problems that they have today. These veterans are living day by day, being treated by family physicians that they dispense large amount of drugs. So they're being treated with drugs. So they're not correcting the problems. I don't accept Medicare not because they don't compensate me, despite that they don't compensate exactly as you describe the work of the physician. It's a governmental system. I am against government on everything. So nothing that is being touched by the government is going to be accepted by me, because I feel the incompetence, the bureaucracy, the irresponsibility, and then the mistreatment of the patients and the medical profession. So I prefer to serve and give my time for free and help the best that I can than to be involved in governmental trash. To correct this is not to put the Band-Aid. This is an obsolete program. It's a program that requires really experts to be involved, require individuals with high trainings to be involved, require individuals that they really care. There are veterans that they go there and they give you an appointment for 3 months. Who is a doctor who will allow that to happen? If a physician allows that to happen, it's because he's part of the problem. So I believe that if I will have a patient who is in pain and has the need of being treated, I will operate at 3 o'clock in the morning and Sunday. Now, when they give you an appointment to somebody for 6 months, and the group of physicians that they are in charge of that type of a schedule, they allow that to happen, they are part of the program, and they are part of the big problem. Physicians should resign in mass to the VA hospitals. The reaction of the Veteran Administration will be immediately if the physicians will work together and walk out from the VA hospital and get in charge individuals that they are physicians in private practice to reorganize their whole system and privatize those hospitals you will see the change will be overnight. For the time being, every vet should be treated by free by hospitals and doctors all over the country. Some practice will not be able to survive if you have too many of these vets in your waiting room. But you can allow certain amount of veterans and say, well, I will take care 10 veterans for free in a month. And if every physician will do that, then we'll have totally revamp the whole VA hospital. And if the VA hospital goes privatized, then physicians that are going to work there will be physicians that they are responsible and they do the job. The problem is not only now the hospitals and the system. The problem is that all this is being driven by irresponsible politicians, that they claim and jump and cry and do meetings and all these things because it's the way that they are going to bring their name to a first position on the televisions and on radios. So you as a voting person will remember the name and vote for that person. It's just a pure practice of self-serving. Politicians, they need to work only 4 years and they need to be elected for that time. And that's it. And you will see how physicians, engineers, mechanics, lawyers will participate on these programs and will bring ideas and concepts that there will be more to help the country.
Thank you for watching American Medicine Today. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to contact us at the number below or tweet at Dr. Benati or hashtag American Medicine Today. We respect your views and opinions and would like to hear from you.
Thank you for watching American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. Please look in your local listings for our next regularly scheduled program. To hear more from Dr. Alfred Benari and American Medicine Today, tune into News Radio 970 WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Benati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
The preceding program is a paid presentation for American Medicine Today and the Bonati Spine Institute. The information and opinions expressed are solely those of American Medicine Today and are not the opinions of the station, its affiliates, management, or employees.